Hello and welcome to the Dance Yourself Brave show, where we get real about the struggles dancers face, from confidence battles to self-doubt, and how dance has the power to make us braver, stronger, and more unstoppable in every area of life. I'm your host, Mariana Santos, founder of Brazily Fitness. And whether you're a seasoned dancer, a dance instructor, dance lover, or someone who's always wanted to dance but feels a little intimidated to start, this show is for you. Expect honest conversations, inspiring stories, and simple ways to bring more dance into your life, whether that's in the studio, on stage, or right in your living room. And if you're a dance instructor, we've got you covered with tips on how to grow your dance business, attract more students, and create a bigger impact through your passion for movement. So if you're ready to step out of your comfort zone, own your movement, and dance yourself brave, let's do this. Hello and welcome to another episode of the Dance Yourself Brave show. I'm your host, Mariana Santos, founder of the Brazily Fitness. So I am so excited because I have Danielle Marie Fusco today here with me, who has done amazing things in dance. So welcome to the show, Danielle. How are you doing?
Great. Thanks so much for having me.
Awesome. So I'm just going to give a little bit of an intro because she's done a lot. So let's kind of recap things that she shared with me. So Danielle is a multi-disciplinary performing artist. So she does dance, circus, and tarantella. She's a choreographer and aerialist. Her career spans off-Broadway, commercial theater, and concert dance. Trained in and teaching Martha Graham technique and Luigi jazz technique, she is also a renowned tarantella dancer who has performed and trained with dancers from La Notte della Taranta and been a guest artist for Vanessa Rocci, the Italian, Allegro Dance, Fini Dance, and Alessandra Belloni, among others. Accolades include the 2022 Fini Dance Award for Best Dancer, participation in the Peace Grant from the Patag Arts Council, the Hub State Circus residency through Circus Culture, was featured as #1 critics pick in Time Out magazine for Stevie 23, and a featured interview in Dance Informa magazine, Women in Dance. As a shamanic lineage healer in Southern Italian traditions, she merges mysticism and movement to create transformative works rooted in women's power and Italian mysticism. Through her artistry, she bridges the ancient and contemporary, embodying the power of ritual, dance, and spiritual alchemy. That is a mouthful. Well, thank you. And I'm sure that you're going to go into all of that and how everything kind of started for you. So I want to start from the beginning. Tell us all about you and how you got started with dance.
Well, I am Italian American, so I grew up in Long Island, and I like to say Strong Island, right? It's in New York. And just like any other typical dance kid, I had to wait till I was 3. I went to dance school, and my mom, she tried to give us everything that she couldn't have. So my sister was 3 years older, so I used to watch her dance. And then so I went to dance, and that's pretty much it. I guess the intention for my mom was that it would be like an extracurricular hobby or something of that nature. But then I realized it was part of who I am and how I really wanted to express and live. And so I guess I made it into my career, but it's really my way of life. I got started out as a kid, and then it just kind of stuck.
That's beautiful. And I love how you said that's just a way of life,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. And I'm sure, though, that, I like to talk about how, dance, of course, you loved it right from the beginning, but I'm sure that there were some struggles that you faced along the way. So can you tell us a little bit about your journey with dance, any of the ups and downs?
Well, because I'm 40 now, so there's been many ups and downs. I would say, dance has taught me how to work through the human experience. So, for instance, the big one is self-esteem issues, right? You're in front of a mirror all day, and that self-judgment or comparing yourself to other dancers, oh, I want to be good like that, or why can't I do this? And it helps me work through just after a while you're like, well, what strengths do I have and how can I improve upon that? But the struggles, I think, that as a society, not just as a dance community, is that the self-worth, the self-esteem. Being in front of a mirror is hard. And so that was a big struggle. But then as I grew older, another struggle professionally was making money, like the financial aspect of it. Because, for me, this is something that I just love. I can't do anything else. Like I've tried so many jobs. I was that dancer who worked a million jobs, and shifting the perspective of this is going to enable me to do what I love to do. I am a type of person that I have to do what I love to do. Like that's just it. Like I can't just work any job. So like learning
I feel
how
you.
to yeah, like learning how to navigate the financial sector of it. That's been kind of like an ebb and a flow like in my journey. Time management, because you have a show, you have rehearsal, and then you're working the other jobs, So that's kind of been, would I say it was a struggle? I think it was a learning tool. Like there's a learning curve that comes with it. Yeah.
Like most struggles, right? There's always something that we can learn, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, I love how you mentioned the self-esteem and comparing yourself to others. I'm sure that happens, more than we can imagine, right? Like, I think as human beings, we have this tendency to kind of look at other people and think that they're so much better off than we are. And social media has definitely like amplified that. So
Mhm.
we don't even need mirrors necessarily, right? You just like scroll through your feed and all of a sudden you see someone who seems like they're like ahead of you in something, right?
Mhm.
And that's so dangerous, right? Because it should be like your personal journey, right? You finding yourself, and you should just be trying to be better than you were yesterday, right? And I know that's easier said than done.
Yeah, but that process also helped me find my authenticity or my authentic voice because, that comparison is a way of trying to be like someone else. Like I have to be like this person where I can, over time, I realize I'm like, no, what is my unique gift? As you grow into that though, I think that struggle is like necessary to go
Yeah.
through like that inner journey.
Yeah, like you said, it's a learning tool,
Hmm.
right? Like there's something sometimes we don't understand why we have certain struggles that we're facing, but usually like down the road we realize like, aha, that's why I was going through that, right? And it's so hard in the moment, but the reason starts to appear down the road. And you also mentioned the financial side, which is something that is very, important to talk about because I think that when we're led by passion, it can be so easy to like undervalue our services, right? And, not charge what we're worth. And I'm more in like the dance, like fitness industry, and that definitely happens in that industry as well, right? Because a lot of fitness instructors like they maybe already have a full-time job and then they do fitness on the side, right? And then they're not as vocal about like this is what I'm worth, right? Because they're kind of doing it as a hobby, and then that makes the industry get undervalued, right? So we accept low rates and then, burn out very quickly, right? Because we're still human, we still have bills to pay, right? Especially those who go into fitness full time, right? So I'm assuming with dance is pretty similar, right? Because when you have someone who is doing what they love, it can be very easy to be like, oh, well, then you should just give me a discount because you love doing it anyway, right? And it's like, no, no, I still have bills to pay.
I do have events where I offer sliding scale,
Mhm.
but like, because most of the time I'm an independent artist, I have to set my rates. And there are moments where sometimes I have to say no, because if I continue to work for free, it's going to impact the rest of the community, like you said before. What we offer is extremely valuable. It's almost like it's not just about the dance, it's not just about the fitness, it's helping people remember their true nature. We are movers, we're meant to move, but our time is valuable. We have the same taxes, the same bills, the same expenses, and we also invested in these Pilates trainings or fitness trainings or university trainings or all of that, because even after your bachelor's, you have to go for I did 2 additional teaching certifications on top of that. And I continue to learn investments. And just like a doctor, right? You're paying these high rates because they're in school for all these years and they're like I couldn't even imagine having the tuition bill a doctor. You know what I mean? A doctor has. So, but if you think about it, like that investment, is it's a lot and you're paying for that. Same things, like even though we're not performing surgeries, we are handling the anatomical system. And so that is an investment in your health. And so that can carry in, whether it's dance, whether it's fitness, it doesn't matter. You're paying for the expertise and the time.
Yeah. Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And people need it more than ever, right? Especially, not even thinking just about the physical benefits, right? But what about the mental health benefits, right?
Absolutely.
There's so much that we bring to the table. And I think that as, dancers, fitness instructors, whatever it is, like we have to think about that value that we offer people, right? And be fairly compensated, right?
Hmm.
As the professionals that we are, and because we do take our work seriously, right?
Yeah, I had a
So,
friend that said that your career is defined by the jobs you say no to.
yeah. It's true. Yeah, and learning to say no is so challenging, right? Like
Yeah.
just this past week, someone like a few years ago, we danced at a multicultural festival here, and we did it for free. And then they just invited us back, and I was like, sorry, like I'm not doing free events anymore. Like you have to kind of learn how to establish limits, right? Because it's not just like me going to dance, right? Like I have a 4-year old, so it's like the logistics of like who's going to stay with my daughter for me to do this, right? And on a weekend where we could be spending time together as a family, right? So there's all of that you have to take into consideration, and it can be so easy to just be like, yeah, yeah, I love doing it, so I'll go do it. And it's like,
Mhm.
yes, but then you kind of set that's the standard, right? That you're just going to keep doing things for free. And then you get burnt out, right? And then you start to not love it as much, right? So it's
Absolutely.
not a great way to do things. But we learn that over time, right? So let's talk about that a little bit. Like going through this process, how do you think going through all these struggles has shaped you as a person, and how does that affect your life today?
It's been such a wild journey and so many different areas connect. It's really helped me believe in who I am and what I have to offer. And I'm no longer uncomfortable setting a rate or a standard. And even my offerings, they may be a little strange. Like yes, like the typical, the jazz, the modern and all that. A lot of people know the musical theater. But when I start to offer the cultural dances, it's lesser known, and sometimes I couple that with workshops, and then I have this witchy shamanic side, and combining all of that, it's kind of like taboo or strange. And it's been a unique journey, but it's like this is who I am and this is what I'm offering. And it's helped me kind of establish a commitment to myself and standing my ground, and like this is also beneficial. Yeah. And really believing in myself, believing in what I have to offer.
Yeah, I love that. And it's very similar to kind of what I go through, right? I think, when we're doing something that we feel like we're led to do, like we get that kind of voice of self-doubt sometimes, right? Like it maybe, like I don't know if you probably have read into like, marketing tactics and things like that. And they say like you need to be niche, right? And I'm like, okay, well, I have a niche. It's Brazilian dance fitness. So it's very like specific, but there's always like that voice where it's like, well, maybe it's too niche, maybe it's like maybe I should
Amazing.
broaden. Yeah, right. So just like you think like, oh, there's some taboo, like maybe sometimes you've had to second guess yourself, right? And be like, no, this is what I meant to do, and I'm going to stay on that
Yeah.
path. Right. And
So wonderful. Brazilian dance is great. I have also done a lot of Afro-Brazilian and the dances of the Orishas as well. Yeah.
very
Fabulous.
cool,
Yeah.
very cool. So we can chat more
Uh-huh.
about that for sure. So what is something that you wish your students knew about you?
Gosh, it's funny. I'm such an open book. I'm wildly weird.
I love that. My sisters and I, we call each other weirdos all the
Yeah.
time. So I love that word. I love just being weird.
Yeah. The one thing though I haven't talked about, it's not like a secret, but I haven't been as vocal as like we all have many dreams, right? And aspirations, but one of them is to be a mime. Like I want to create there. I did physical theater, and we there was a little bit of commedia dell'arte, and we learned corporeal and illusionary mime. And I just want to master at least one performance of being a mime, right? Because it's so cool. Like that's just one of like my like little artistic dreams that I have is to be really good at it. Like I when I was taking these workshops, it was like really challenging, and coming from also a jazz background, like if you think Bob Fosse's work is hard, try illusionary mime, because the specificity of where you are in space and how to create an illusion and manipulate that, it's magic. It's magic, and it's like it's literally like being a physical magician, but at the same time, really harnessing the essence of the story that you're trying to tell. And so you're kind of like zooming in on an aspect of a story. It's abstract in a way, even though you're miming it, but you're focusing in on the essence, embellishing on that, and then using the physical manipulations of your hands and your body and timing is just so interesting. And like if you watch someone who has mime training, like their hands and their fingers are able to kind of like move independently. It's wild. So having the time to kind of like work on like each like muscle in the hand, like
Yes.
yeah, like that's like one of my students. I don't know if they know that about me. I'm not sure. I mean, they know I've done physical theater, but I haven't really went into detail about like how much I love and appreciate mime work.
That is incredible. Like so many layers to what you do, and everything kind of ties into movement somehow,
Yeah.
right? So that's beautiful.
Yeah.
Very cool. So, what is maybe a student success story that you can share with us? Maybe something that happened
Mm.
recently, or something that you have never forgotten over the years.
So many, but actually one of the most recent ones was I think I don't have it right this second. I can text it to you later, is a screenshot of my student thanking me. So she's in college now. She goes to Hofstra and she's like, I just wanted to reach out to you and let you know that all of your classes prepared me for the body of work that I'm doing in college because they do a lot of competitions as well. And she's like, she said specifically my class, because I was teaching Martha Graham technique, which is a modern dance form, no tricks, nothing. Like it's just pure like drama and technique and movement. And it's beautiful. And for me, it's spirituality put into human form. It's very, I'm not sure if you're familiar with modern dance and Martha Graham, but so anyway, she was my dance baby and I trained them ever since. I think I was there at that studio for 10 years. To get that message, it's like, okay, I'm doing something right. So that was a success because she was also pursuing it. Like, you know, she's pursuing it professionally because that's what she loves. And she felt prepared. So that's kind of like, I think a teacher and a student success story because I'm really proud of her and she's creating her own work, which is, that makes me so happy. But at the same time, it's like one day she's going to pass that torch. And I think, you know, and it just, it keeps going.
Yeah, that's what I always talk about, the dance ripple effect,
Yeah.
right? Like if you empower one person, that one person can empower
Mhm.
10 others, and then, it just keeps going. It's amazing.
Yeah.
So what would you say, like thinking about all of that and like the success that you've had with your students, and what kind of impact are you looking to make specifically in the world?
I really hope, and I tell my students that to be authentic, to be curious. One of the things that I also say, like even if you want to be a stage dancer, concert dancer, commercial dancer, study the cultural dances. Because if you're doing commercial work and you're doing a period piece, right? Like or a specific, it's taking place in a specific country, do your research, be curious, and but also at the same time is remember that when you start to develop your work, go within to who you are, and you can use all of the other forms as a basis for technique and how to move and all of that, but it's like, who are you and what do you have to say? So that curiosity is kind of like the motivator to go deep within, to go deep and appreciate other cultures. So that is one of the things that I push for them, and to be as authentic as possible, and like, listen, I didn't get into dance to be the best dancer. I want to enjoy what I love to do and make a living doing it. And so that is kind of like what I present to them, what I preach, I guess, to them.
I find that incredible because I think that, what you said, like, I didn't go into dance to be the best dancer. That's exactly the message I think we should be sharing, because there's so much that we can learn just through the journey of dance that doesn't necessarily mean we're going to be on stage one day or work even with dance, right? But there's so much that we can learn about ourselves through dance, and that can, light up a fire and build that confidence to chase whatever, goal you have, whatever dream you have, right? And dance can just be that catalyst, right? Be like,
Mhm.
okay, now I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
And it's going to be hard along the way, but I'm going to know how to get back up every time I fall because dance has taught me that, right?
Yes.
And yes, I love that. And what would you say that the world needs more of nowadays?
Ooh, kindness and understanding. Kindness, understanding. Um, I would say more dance would really be beneficial.
Yes, I agree.
Because, or a body in motion,
Mhm.
right? A body in motion, because there's so many like chemical endorphins that are released in the brain. And our moods can shift just by moving, whether it's outside or with a community. Um, that just brought me community. And that's where it brings me back to the shamanism. It's a community practice, and how dance is a healing form as well. It was a lot of healing in the ancient times were done in community. It wasn't an isolation room or anything like that. And like, if you think about like many of us who are like, even when I'm home trying to do my own marketing, I'm isolated. I'm like this, like my body gets all tight. I'm on the computer. And it's just like when I'm in a group setting, connecting with other people's energy, it's healing. Dance, movement, whatever modality works for the person is fine, but to move in community, which will help with understanding and kindness. So there's so many different ways to look at it. But yeah, coming together, moving together, creating together, being kind together, speaking, understanding each other's different perspectives. I think that would be, as a collective whole, more beneficial if more of us could integrate that into our lives.
Yeah, I agree. And it's interesting that you mentioned that community piece because I've been wanting to start this podcast for over a year. And I wasn't exactly sure which direction to take it in. And I was just like, you know what, I have too much going on. I'm not going to do it. But like you said, like sometimes like when you're putting together, like you're a business owner, right? You spend so much time working on the marketing, building websites, funnels, and all these things, right? And it gets so like contrived, right? And I've noticed that ever since I've started doing these interviews, I've felt more relaxed because I'm talking to other people who are doing like me, they're following their bliss and, they're making impact in the world. And it's made me feel more like, yeah, like let's do this. Right. So, and a lot of the times, right, like people think like, oh, you have a dance brand, so you must dance all day. I'm like, no, like I dance a couple of times a week, maybe 3 times a week. But the rest of the time, it's like social media, this and this and this, and all those things that I don't necessarily love doing. Right. So the fact that I get to talk to amazing dancers like you and, other professionals that are doing amazing things in the world is just, it's making me feel more alive, right? So that just goes to show that how we need people, even like in a virtual setting, it makes a difference, right? And yeah, so I'm so grateful that you came on the show and all the other amazing people that I've been able to interview. It's been such a blessing.
Thank you. Yeah, the virtual setting has actually been the benefit of the pandemic. I'm doing an online music and dance conference right now. So I have some teachers from Italy zooming in because I get a lot of dancers and non-dancers that are like, where can we learn these dances? And so there's Italian dances that I can teach, no problem, I'll teach you. But there's also things that I don't live in Italy. And so there are other teachers that can offer a unique perspective. So I'm doing that right now, but because of speaking and networking and trying to embrace that community setting, that was able to be birthed into
Yeah.
reality. Oh,
Yeah, so true. Like, yeah, I think that sometimes, I mean, I have this habit of sometimes looking at technology, kind of the negative sides. I think, especially because I have a daughter, and sometimes I worry about, her getting on social media one day, even though she's only 4. But, so I'm like terrified of technology in certain ways, but it's also magical for a lot of things like this, right? That like we wouldn't be able to have this conversation, like we don't live close to each other, right? Like it would be very difficult to book something like this, right?
yeah.
So, yeah, we have to take the good with the bad, right? And what advice would you give to someone who's maybe a little bit curious about starting to dance, after listening to this interview, like they've never danced before, but they want to kind of dip their toe in and test it out, but maybe they're a little bit hesitant, right? Especially if they're listening to this podcast, they feel like maybe it's too late for them to start, right? Like they're not kids anymore. What would you say?
It's never too late. I actually teach, it's funny, I teach adult beginner circus, and I teach adults how to fly basically. And so it goes back to continue being curious and remember that it's a journey and document the progress. Each week or each time you come to class, take a little video at the end, so you can document your progress and just stay inspired. Be open to learning something new. Be open to moving your body. Let go of having to be the best. And I've seen so many adults I think there was one woman who used to come to Circus Warehouse. She started in her 50s. She started in her 50s and she's fierce. My friend owns a dance studio, has only adult ballet classes. A woman started probably in her 50s and is now doing point work. Yes. So just do not what the biggest advice, don't listen to anyone else. If there's something that you want to do it. And if you have a good teacher, they will help you build the strength and the inner and outer physical, but definitely the physical movement modalities and that kind of strength and coordination. They will help you with that. So don't worry about how old you are. Don't worry about it's too late, that matter. That's all brainwashing. So don't
Yeah.
listen to anybody. Do what you like. Be curious, be open, document your progress, and just stay inspired.
Yes, it's beautiful. And like you said, like don't listen to what other people say, but also don't listen to your own negative
Yes,
self-talk, right? Because I think that's a big thing, right? Sometimes like we talk ourselves out of things that we really want to do,
yeah,
right? Because our brain just wants to keep us in this safe zone that's like not like doing us any favors, right? So
absolutely.
don't listen to what other people say, but also like that negative self-talk that you hear, like learn how to cancel it out and just be
Oh
like, you know
yeah.
what? I'm going to do it anyway. Like, thanks for sharing your opinion, brain, but I'm going to go for it.
Yeah, and also there's a lot in the collective where it's like at this, you're supposed to feel pain at this part of your life, and no, it doesn't have to be true. There's people thriving at this, like at all stages of their life, so I agree. And then a lot of it is internal, like accepting that as truth.
Beautiful. So why don't you share now how people can get in touch with you, find out about your classes and workshops and everything you have going on?
So I do in person and virtual. So I have a website, www.daniellemariefusco.com. But I have Instagram. So it's at Danielle Marie Fusco, all one word. And, I'm on Facebook, but same thing. Danielle Marie Fusco. I try to keep it all the same so they can find me that way. And I would love to offer anyone who follows your podcast, I can send you the links for some discount codes if they're interested in learning some Italian dance. I'm starting a new festival right now. It's a dance conference with some drumming classes, and there's only 6 in April. So if anyone or your followers would like to come, or if you would like to come, I have a whole bunch of discount codes that I can send as well.
Awesome. Well, I'll make sure that all of that is in the show notes so people can just click and get in touch
Yeah,
with you as
thank you.
easily as possible. And thank you so much. I love hearing about your story and I just feel your positive energy. And I think that's something that's so amazing when you can do that online is feel someone else's energy. And so like just your smile and everything is just beautiful. So thank you so much for
Thank
coming on the
you.
show and sharing and inspiring us.
Thank you so much for having me.
All right. Well, thank you for tuning into the show. If this is your first time here, make sure that you subscribe to the channel. Also, leave a review if you can, because that's the best way for people to find out about the show. And that's the best way that we can continue to spread the dance love across the globe. So thank you again, and I'll catch you next time. Thanks for tuning in to the Dance Yourself Brave show. If today's episode got you hyped, inspired, or just made you want to bust a move, do me a favor, subscribe, leave your review, and share it with someone who needs to hear today's message. Sharing is caring after all. And hey, don't forget, your courage is already in you. Sometimes you just gotta dance it out to feel it. Catch you next time, keep shining, and keep dancing yourself brave.